Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Coming to you live from our comfy couch here in the outskirts of the internet. This is the Gaming Saloon Reviews for June 26, 2022, with host Spacebreaker 2448, Rampant Epsilon, and Tommy Gun 2442.
Hello.
I had that part in.
Love that stutter there for a minute. I've been gone that long.
It's been a hot minute since I had to do the intro that way.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I mean, I've been busy, so I get it.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's War 01 this week. It's the pre-COVID 3 episodes, and then the first post-COVID episode.
And then my stupid self decided it would be a good idea to watch all the in-between stuff.
I didn't even do that.
I got to realizing something, though. I'm actually right. The two President specials actually kind of tie in with the .5 episode. Because that whole thing is the introduction to Azu.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I forgot they went that far back.
Yeah, they talked about in the producer roundtable how, yeah, we had to move up introducing the arc because, time lost due to COVID, so here it is in a recap special. But yeah, and it's an odd bit of episode numbering we got to talk about because the last episode in our batch, its episode number is entirely dependent upon your source.
Yep.
Because it is technically episodes 33 through 36. Except if you're watching through Tubi, and I'm going to assume Shout Factory as well, because I haven't checked Shout Factory's website.
I think it's the same, but I can't swear to that.
Yeah.
I'll look real quick.
Yeah. Yes.
I said real quick.
Yeah, I pulled it up too.
Okay.
But yeah, it is episode 42, and I need to get up real quick and get this, because I'm going to check my Blu-ray real quick. If you are watching through the official Blu-ray, it is still episode 36.
Now, yes, we technically skipped the .5 episode. Really, the only takeaway on that is Azu comes and steals singularity data, and that's it.
Oh, I thought she whammied all of them.
I mean, that too.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's because of stealing the singularity data.
Yeah.
So, not really anything to note there.
Yeah, and unfortunately, folks, that this kind of oddball episode numbering is going to kind of be the case for the rest of the show, because we might as well talk about it up front. So, for those that weren't watching 01 at the time, you have to bear in mind, 01 was airing pre-COVID. In episode 35 was the last episode they filmed before production had to shut down due to the COVID-19 pandemic starting.
Which I think actually might have been a case of it was in limbo starting the beginning episode of Dispatch. Because I'm thinking that's when we weren't sure was right around 33 kind of deal.
Yeah, because earlier on they announced that production had was either halted or was in limbo due to the COVID-19 pandemic happening, and 35 was the last episode they had filmed at the time. And 01 proceeded to go on a 5-week break.
Yeah, 5, because the .5 episode technically had new footage, but I don't think we ever found out if that was done before or after.
It is done after.
Okay, so then 5.
Yeah. I believe Producer Roundtable confirmed that 35 was officially the last episode they got to do before COVID. They had written to 38, I think, I believe, before shutdown, but filming wise, 35 here was the last one they had filmed outright. But yeah, the 01's production went on a 5-week break. Now, bear in mind, Kira Major also went on a 5-week break as well, but we're not talking Kira Major at all, even though I believe the first President Special has the Superhero Time intro segment for 01 and Kira Major in it.
All the specials do, actually.
I question why, but okay.
But all the specials did on the TV one.
Why did they include the Superhero Time segment?
I don't know.
Superhero Time intro segment.
I don't know.
Like, I assume it's because, again, the 01, the copies of 01 we got for the official release are the broadcast masters. And Rider airs before Sentai, I believe. Yeah, Rider aired before Sentai at the time.
But why didn't we get that for all of them?
Exactly.
Because it should have been there on all of them.
Because also, by the way, that Superhero Time segment is not the same one all season. It actually changes and updates with the different forms and stuff over the course of the season with both Rider and Sentai. So there are different versions of that Superhero Time segment. I think someone somewhere might have a compilation of all the 01 ones on YouTube or somewhere.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. But yeah, we had a 5-week break, and that is a hard... We do not have 5 episodes to talk about with this show. They are lost. And that gets a lot into the producer roundtable that I've referenced a whole bunch. Tom Constantine on Twitter translated the whole thing. I've retweeted it and linked it every chance I get whenever the conversation comes up about the end of 01, because that is important knowledge to have when talking about the ending of 01, because it explains how we got the ending of 01 we have right now.
And that also is forming how we're finishing 01.
Yes.
Because next week's will be a 5-episode one.
Yes,
I think
because we are rounding.
Week.
Should be. I think we only have like 2 weeks left of 01.
Yeah, it's next week.
I was about to say, we don't have that much left.
And that will round us to 02, which I feel is where the show probably should have ended in light of circumstances.
Yes.
And I feel like the last 4 that we're going to be covering is a modification of what the final arc of the show should have been.
Which the producer roundtable have confirmed that the last 4 episodes of the show they wrote from scratch to end the show, because we have 4 episodes to end the show when we don't know what to do.
And you kind of don't put filler episodes that late in the show.
Yep. We have an ending. We have to work backwards. How do we get there? Or, no, we have an end fight we want to do, and we have to work backwards from there to get in. And it's got to be doable in 4 episodes.
And I will full on admit, the last 4 episodes do kind of feel out of place for the entirety of the show. But knowing where they wanted to end, I kind of understand it.
Yeah. Dying, I see.
Yeah, sorry about that. I am just a bystander that is listening. Don't mind me.
But that is the bigger thing that like needs to be put on the table when talking about these episodes, because that is the entire context for the production of these episodes. Like, not just the writing, but the filming, everything about these episodes. So it's a, like, whether we like it or not, the start of the COVID-19 pandemic is irreparably tied to this series. And I honestly don't know how much of that truly impacted Saber at the end of the day. Because I know, because I've seen an interview what Saber originally was supposed to be in concept, but I don't know how much, how much that got thought about before they sidelined it for what we got in as Saber the show. I don't know if I've ever told you about that.
No, but at the same time, I kind of dropped Saber uber early because I was feeling the exact same vibes I was feeling off of Ghost. Spoiler alert, I was right. And I haven't went back to it. So, I mean...
it was essentially supposed to be like more world-traveling swordsman themed.
I could see why that would have had to have gotten changed then.
Mm-hmm. Like, let me see if I can find... I might not be able to find this anytime soon.
And actually, now that you mention it about you don't know how much it affected Saber, I bet that's why we got the over-the-top transformations.
Well, yeah.
Because that was probably just there to help pad out time that they normally wouldn't have had.
Because Ghost dropped that almost immediately.
But Saber kept it all the way. So I bet that's what that is. Because heck, I know a lot of the transformations were up a minute kind of deal. So I mean, I could see that easily being just to pad it out.
But yeah, that is the point where we're in Saber, where we're going to be taking a turn in the story into not Saber, 01. I bet. We're taking a turn in 01 and more or less introducing our main bad guy, and we have to stop mid-introduction hard and lose 5 episodes out the gate, which, as an additional reminder, at the time of 01's production, there was supposed to be the Olympics in Japan. And the broadcast station that 01 was on, TV Arashi, did have rights to broadcast the Olympics. So I'm not sure if all 5 of those episodes were lost. I think they said specifically how many episodes they lost. And I can't wait to not find that tweet specifically in a timely manner.
I don't feel like they would have lost all 5.
No.
But
no, the Olympics wouldn't even go that long.
I still feel like they at least lost a couple from what they were expecting. Like, I wouldn't be surprised to find out that the 2 filler episodes for the job stuff, if it wasn't those 2, is what we normally would have just lost. Because those 2 feel like they're uber phoned in just to try to get something in the spot.
Yeah, because I don't know what they would have done if they would have been preempted for the Olympics, or if they would have done a recap special to not compete with the Olympics. Because even if they weren't going to be, even if TV Arashi was not airing the Olympics on the same day Rider airs. TV Arashi is a part of the television network conglomerate that got the Olympics, or the broadcast rights for the Olympics that year anyway. So Rider would technically be competing against their own stuff.
Right.
That's kind of silly.
I didn't know.
That's why I kind of feel like it wouldn't surprise me if we just lost the game stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, not the game stuff, the job stuff.
Just take it off. I'm sorry.
It cost them 4 episodes actually. So the
so
COVID
that's
break
why
cost...
the 0.5.
Mm-hmm. So 1 episode was planned to be a break episode, or they already were losing an episode of those 5. They just lost an additional 4 on top of it.
Which means we completely killed the final arc.
Pretty much.
Because, for reference, the technical final form for 01 is 02.
Yes.
Which we get 4 episodes away from the end.
Mm-hmm.
That usually doesn't happen. We usually have that far before then.
Yeah, we got Gifford Rex, like 10 episodes from the end of the series, I believe?
I think so, and that's usually the norm, anywhere from like 10 to 12 away from the end.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It's one of those, you can clearly tell we lost a good little chunk there.
Yeah, like I said, all of this is important when talking about the show now because it is irreparably tied to this series. Like, I feel like if you're just casually watching the show, none of what we said matters. But like, if you're digging into the show, yeah, all of this matters.
It's one of those too that's also going to change how the next 2 weeks go. Because instead of our normal, we wait till the end to talk about it, I almost feel like we should treat next week's as the end and then talk about the other 4 as if it was also the end kind of deal.
Yeah, and
because
maybe
I feel the show ends proper with 02's debut.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the other 4 episodes still have to exist, otherwise things like, you know, the movie and the V cinemas mean kind of mismatched stuff. I wouldn't say they fit out of place, but they also feel like, wait, we're missing information. So
it's weird. I still like real time, even regardless of everything.
No, that's not weird.
Yeah. It's the V cinemas we have the problems with, and we've talked about that.
Yeah. Yeah, and of course we gotta watch the V cinemas and talk about them.
We'll get there.
I get to be aggravated about them again.
Yay. At least it's not the Saber V cinema.
I haven't watched it, so I wouldn't know how bad it is. Wait, I just full on assumed that it was bad. My bad.
I don't know if I call it bad. I call it a case of, oh, you had the same idea and you did it 3 times. 3 different ways. And none of the 3 feel as fleshed out as they should be.
Huh.
Also, I don't understand what they're talking about in that V cinema at all. Because it feels like this is a thing that is never brought up in the series at all. And now it's a thing. Because of course it is.
Well.
Anywho, shall we talk about the episodes themselves this week?
Maybe.
Well, I feel like a couple of these episodes we're gonna blaze through because there's not a whole lot that can't be summed up that happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, we will kick off this week's episodes with episode 33, Are Dreams That Important? So Fua has brought in our next case, essentially, for Arto and Izu, and that is a tennis human gear called Love, because I don't know why he just is named Love.
Yeah, I don't get that one.
But he apparently has been dumped, and they're trying to figure out who dumped him, because he is registered to a mom, but he's a tennis coach for the kid. So, They bring him back online and stuff to handle that. Meanwhile, Yaiba has given her last chance by Guy to do something. And to help with that, she has told Fua's backstory. We'll get to that in a little bit.
And by being told his backstory, being told one thing about his backstory.
Yes.
I do want to put that out there because it does come up later. So.
Mm-hmm. But we meet up back with Aruto as he has dropped off Love with the kid, who is happy that Love is back, but he is being a bit suspicious about it because, look, this is essentially the B plot of the episode because it doesn't matter.
I also felt the air quotes around happy there.
Mm-hmm. But as they're seeing the pair off, AIM show up, Yaiba and two of her specific AIM's goons, and they attack our riders. Aruto deals with the goons fairly easy, but Yaiba, on the other hand, in attacking Fua, tries to rip this belt off because she's like, you shouldn't have been a rider, and this, that, and the other, and Fua's like, Yaiba, what the fuck are you talking about? Yaiba, have you lost your damn mind? But eventually she just leaves after her goons get beat. She heads back to the van, but the goons are gone. And apparently we're attacked by other AIM's goons that are under Guy's orders. And they attack Yaiba by shooting her raid riser before Fua shows up and runs them off. And then Fua and Yaiba talk, and Fua points out, like, you know, I'm fine with being a rider. I've got a dream now and stuff. Also, your system could use work because I keep breaking open these keys and it really should be harder than it is. Also, the whole chip thing doesn't work on me anymore, which, about that later.
Also, fun fact, Fu is an idiot when it comes to the keys.
Yeah.
I forgot until I was watching the shooting special that it's like, yeah. Yaiba just completely roasts him so many times about, you know, if you put the key in the gun first, it will open.
I have said this several times over. There's a reason why I refuse to accept anything else but that those animated specials are canon, because Yaiba gets payback on Fua for all this bullshit by running him through an amusement park. It is payback, and I refuse to accept it as anything else.
I mean,
because
you're not
this
wrong.
This is their relationship. But yeah, she just doesn't really have answers for anything and just ends up leaving and stuff. That's when Guy calls in to be like, do your job. Don't make me come over there. But this is when we catch back up with the kid who heads back to Hidden Manufacturer. It's like, can you take the human gear off of me, please? I don't want to be a pro. I just want to do tennis for fun. And the human gear is being kind of obnoxious and wanting me to be pro. So they talk it out. And they try to be like, all right, kid, what is your dream then and stuff? But I'm like, he just wants to have tennis as a hobby. He probably has a dream of something else. But again, that's not the important thing in the episode. So he kind of just gets put off to the side because we have more important stuff to do. But Yaiba's overhearing all of this, and she's like, what's so important about dreams? Meh, 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 meh. And then Guy shows up, and he's like, hey, by the way, Fua, guess what? That whole memory of yours about being attacked as a kid at daybreak and stuff, yeah, I fabricated all of that. Just to make you more useful to me. Which, okay, I have to bring this up. I've heard people complain about this part. About it finding out that Fua's backstory is not his backstory, that he's actually just some normal guy. Did they forget the part where Guy basically brainwashed him and gaslit him for God knows how long? That's still fucked up.
Yeah. To be fair, though, I kind of like the way that it's set up. Because it kind of makes sense. That Fua would just be a normal person kind of deal.
Yeah. I just look at people and being like, Fua's not as interesting anymore. And I'm like, I mean, he still is. It's just a case of he's been gaslit for months, probably. Like, however long he's been in Ames, which I have to think has been a while, into believing something that wasn't true. And that's still fucked up. And that is yet another thing on Guy's checklist of, these are crimes I've committed.
Yeah.
But yeah, he reveals this to Fua, and Fua's a little bit broken by that because, my whole life has been a lie. Or at least as far as I know, my whole life has been a lie. Oh, that's bad. But this prompts Yaiba to go, alright, that's enough, I'm kicking his ass, and transforms to go fight Guy. Arto tries to step in, but he's stuck dealing with the aim schemes that Guy brought.
And by stuck with, you mean holding on to him.
Pretty much.
Because that's all he does this entire fight. Is hold them.
Yeah. But yeah, Yaiba fights. She's on the back foot because chip thing causes pain, and that's not helping. But then Fua's like, alright, I got my shit settled. I want to kick his ass too. And so the two of them tag team him, beat the shit out of him, send him packing. And once they beat him down, Yaiba walks towards him with the shot riser in hand as Guy scrambles to get his Zia-spec on to just give her the brain shocks and stuff. She fights it the whole time until eventually she's like, I'm not going to shoot him. Tosses the gun, which Fua just so casually catches like he knew she was going to toss it. Again, this is their relationship. Before Yaiba squares up and decks the shit out of him. I forgot it was a punch. I thought she slapped him. No, she decked the shit out of him. I still wish she kicked him in the nuts first and then punched him. Because he deserves so much more than that single punch. But she officially resigns from Saya with this punch and then leaves. And Fua is all happy and actually smiling at this. Which, I feel like that's the first time we've seen Fua smile when it was not Arto making a joke. But yeah, that's resolved. The love decides to go hook up with a pro tennis player, the coach them. The kid's just going to do his thing. But the end of the episode, we have Yaiba contacted by Metsubo Jinrai for reasons we'll see later. Which takes us to episode 34. This is Hirobi's Way of Life. So Arto and Izu are at a local veggie farm. They're seeing how it operates and stuff since they got the human Yura Minori back online and running for him since she helps run the place. Meanwhile, we check in with Yaiba as she's brought to Daybreak so they can help recover Naki from Fua's ship, which Jin's the one leading this, and she talks to him about stuff. specifically stuff for a later episode.
Yep.
We then check in with Guy as he is sulking in Aruto's office because Yaiba slugged him. He has the look of, I'm not mad, I'm not upset, you're upset. You're mad.
When in all seriousness, he's mad.
Mm-hmm. He should have gotten punched more. Should have been a 2-hitter. He deserves so much more. But back with Aruto on the farm, Hirobi arrives with some Trilobite Magia goons, which I think I remember someone saying that like Aruto doesn't save these Magia with the Progrise Hopper Blade, but I have to think these Magias are specifically manufactured at Daybreak because they showed that can happen. So these Huma Gears actually aren't anyone. They're just blanks.
I kind of feel fine with that, actually.
Yeah.
But I also have a problem. I know Aruto doesn't know that Hirobi's powerful enough to, beat the crap out of Guy.
Yes.
But why did we get the final appearance of Shining Hopper instead of him going straight to Metal Cluster?
The fantastic question, because Aruto refuses to give her the key. Hirobi sends his goons. Aruto goes Shining to fight Hirobi for some reason.
It's like, that barely got Mr. Assassin, and you think that's a good one for Hirobi?
I assume it's a case of, I need to take out the goons quick. Shining Hopper is a fast one, right?
But why not go Shining Assault at least?
Fantastic question. I don't know.
Like there's no logical idea why he went with that one, and I'm like, what the heck? Because I watched that and I was like, wait, I thought this was Shining Assault. Oh, well, this is even worse then. What?
So he takes out the Magias, but Hirobi still, kicks his butt. He ends up taking Minori hostage in exchange for Ikazuchi keys and leaves. Fu ends up arriving late because he's processing all the stuff about his backstory at the moment. I love that he's ready to transform when he shows up, and then there's no one there, and it just drowns out the standby for the shot riser. It's like, aw. Fu is a sad dog. But after he leaves, he catches up with Yaiba, who's like, hey, I'm gonna help get Naki out of your head. And he's like, I'm good. And Yaiba just chops him in the neck and knocks him out. And then I assume proceeds to drag his ass all the way to Daybreak.
Either that or she called Jen to come get him.
I would hope. Granted, there is something funny about her dragging him all the way there.
There is.
I have to think it would be cathartic for her in some capacity.
I could see her dragging him by the feet, just letting his face hit whatever it ran across.
Yep. Meanwhile, the son that's in charge of the farm buys a Zayas pack to cover for Minori while she's gone. And this falls into a guy seeing reports of, Zayas specs are through the roofs. Let's get those raid risers out there to market because that makes sense. Let's get those in normal people's hands. That won't end up bad. But back over to Yaiba, we see her extracting Naki from Fua, and then it's kind of painful and stuff, and Fua wakes up at one point, and she just has to chop him in the back of the neck again, knock him out.
Which leads Jen to be like, wait, maybe I should have tried that. I love that moment where he's like, wait, it was that easy?
That's where the off switch is on him? which again speaks volumes about their relationship before the start of the series. Of just like, oh yeah, she's probably had to do this before, because she's incredibly casual about this. But we check in Naruto that night as he debates handing over the key and stuff. We also get, I feel like, a recap of stuff about Hirobi with him being a father Humagear and all that. I don't think anything new here. It's just a further recap of that.
Yeah, I think it's just a recap if I'm remembering right.
But as Hirobi's mulling things over, Midori brings up his whole father Humagear things and stuff, and like it kind of like agitates him a little bit of just like, I just know I'm not that, says the man who literally made his son.
Yeah, but he's not that.
Mm-hmm.
He totally couldn't put his life on the line for him. Again.
Look, there's a reason. There's another reason why I want the animated specials as canon, is because there's a Metsubo Jinrai one that is absolutely wholesome as hell. Because it's the four of them playing some like word game of sorts, and they end up getting a picture of the four of them together, and Hirobi keeps the picture, and he actually smiles at it. It is wholesome as hell. But next day, we catch up with Naruto heading to daybreak. He tries to talk Hirobi down. It doesn't work, so he ends up giving over the key. Hirobi frees Midori and lets her walk a little bit, and then blows her up because... Gotta be a dick? It seemed entirely unnecessary.
I mean, she done got under his skin.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, I mean... I think his justification was any Humagear that sides with humans shouldn't exist either. Which
a bit
makes
extreme.
yeah. Kind of makes you think that, you know, what Jin was doing at the beginning of the series was probably nicer.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, this pisses off Naruto. He transforms Metal Hopper, fights Hirobi, actually hits him with the Hopper Blade finisher, which says a lot for a later scene, I feel like. Because we know what the Hopper Blade does to Humagears get hit by finishers.
Mm-hmm.
But after this happens, Jin shows up, steals the key, and as this is happening, Izu reports that the Zaya specs have been hacked, and as we see in Daybreak, Naki has been revived, and they have decided to hack the Zaya specs and make people go nuts. Because, fuck guy, he sucks. Which, fair, when he did murder you by shooting you in the head, probably a little on the justified side.
I mean, that and the whole, you know, sticking consciousness in other person's head thing, yeah, that would probably piss someone off too.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that is halfway through. How'd you feel about the first half?
I feel like pretty much this is just the setup for, unfortunately, the thing that gets undone.
Yeah.
That's what I feel's kind of messed up. The setup we get for Hirobi, I get. It's supposed to build up to really to the arc's full-on physical form.
Mm-hmm.
But it almost feels like it should be the end of the show redemption kind of concept. So it kind of feels odd here, but at the same time, it's nice.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, good 2 episodes for leading into what is literally going to be the end of the show.
Yep. Yeah, good stuff. I do. Is one thing that probably doesn't get talked about enough, but I absolutely love every little background thing that Izu does. I don't know if they're improv or not, but every time she just does this little thing in the background that's like has nothing to do with the plot, but like it's just this cute little thing that she does. Because in the episode with the tennis guy, as they're talking to the kid about what he's doing, the tennis coach drops his racket, like in shock of like, he doesn't want me as his coach anymore. And Izu just casually picks it up, twirls it in her hand, and then just quietly puts it back in his hands before just stepping back, and the conversation continues. I'm like, I don't know if this is improv or not, but I love every time she just does this little thing.
I want to feel like it's improv, but at the same time, I almost wonder if it's one of those loose improv moments where it's like they tell her to do something with the prop, but at the same time, not exactly what.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of that weird combination.
Yeah, I like it because it's letting Izu do stuff when she's not got a whole lot to do right now plot-wise.
I mean...
But she still gets...
Yeah.
She's still getting to be a part of the show and stuff, and gets to have those little moments. But yeah, shall we hit the second half then?
I guess so.
Alright, episode 35. What do human gears dream of? So, Arto's fighting Jin, and making platforms and stuff to fight Jin, since he kind of can't fly in this form. He actually pushes Jin onto the ropes and stuff, and is about to hit him with the hopper blade until Hiropi steps in untransformed and protects him. And he's even like, why did I do that? The arc didn't tell me to do that. Like the last time that happened. Why am I doing this? But even Arto is confused by this, and this gives Jin the opening to fly the two of them away. And meanwhile, the Zion specs continue to be hacked and stuff. Until Fua actually talks Naki down. And is just like, hey, don't go this far. Like, just calm down a little bit. So Naki stops the hack. In a wonderful bit of irony, Guy has to do a press conference about the Zion specs being hacked and updating the security on them. And they totally won't be hacked next time.
If it sounds familiar, it's because Haruto did the same thing.
Eating crow, aren't we, Guy? But we also see that Fua's been dropped off at the hospital after his whole ordeal because, you know, having an entire AI consciousness ripped out of the chip that's in your head looks painful on both of them. I guess Naki just shook it off faster. But Ikazuchi's in the process of being revived as Naki drops by to Fua and an arriving Yaiba to tell Yaiba Fua's deepest, darkest secret. He finds Aruto's jokes funny. Because Naki does one of Aruto's jokes, and Fua just rolls out of the bed laughing, and oh, that is blackmail material for life.
Also, Naki didn't do just one of Aruto's, but did a double version of Aruto's jokes.
And like I said, Yaiba will have that blackmail for life.
And I love that it doesn't get referenced going forward. It's just a case of she knows, and it's like, yep, she could screw him over at any given point.
If I need it, it's in the back pocket. So. We also find out his backstory and stuff. Essentially, he's just a guy. He's just normal. Which again, kind of makes everything the guy's been doing to him that much more fucked up.
And I feel like that was the goal there.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, would it have been as interesting for basically the culmination of his arc to just be, oh, he was already this important guy, and then guy just completely brainwashed him to doing his bidding?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no, I kind of feel like, yeah, he was just a normal guy. Guy just kind of grabbed him and said, you're mine now.
Yep. But yeah, just, I don't know, something about Fua just being a normal guy. Just is like, yeah, no, that's probably why people really like him too. It's just, he's just some guy. He's not anyone special. I think that clicks with people a lot more than people tend to realize.
Yeah. Also, the fact that this is the point in the show where everything hits the fan, and then we get this just immensely funny meta. Yeah, he's just a guy. It's like, yep, on point.
Mm-hmm. But we then check in with Arto. He's checking the farm, seeing that they are, struggling. And even with the Ziospec hack, they need it because they got to keep this farm up and running. Because, like, some of this stuff won't survive without Minori here to run it. So we need her back, and Arto and Izo are working on that. But they got other stuff to worry about too. Because back over to Metsubo Jinrai, Guy showed up at daybreak with all of his Ames goons to fight Hirobi and all of his Trilobite goons, because you and me, we're doing this duel. So the two forces collide. Hirobi and Guy fight. Guy actually gets the better of Hirobi and almost kills him, surprisingly. Except Arto swoops in, takes the blow because he wants to believe in Hiromi. Wants to believe that, like, you can be better than, wanting to exterminate humanity, and I'm going to choose to believe in that because Guy's the real villain in all of this. He's the one responsible for everything. Fuck him. He sucks. I'm not gonna let him kill you. So he ends up fighting Guy, only to be intercepted by the Giegers, which means the Giegers now have more screen time than the 01 form that they came from.
Yep.
Well, but at this point, Arto's put on the back foot of the Giegers, only for them to stop, along with all the Ames personnel, because Naki has hacked them all since they're familiar with Zaya's stuff. So it doesn't matter how much security you put in. You put, I know your password, Guy. I can just do this all day. So let's Hirobi fight Guy once more. He actually beats him, sends him packing, and Naki's sticking with Hirobi to do what Hirobi wants. And Hirobi surprisingly believes in Naruto as well, a little bit, thinking that maybe Naruto can make a better future for the human gears. A little bit of trust being built between them after, an almost entire show of them being on opposite sides. But we end the episode proper with Minori repaired back at the farm, and Metsubo Jinrai is fully revived as Ikuzuchi joins the other three, meaning the arc is on our doorstep. Which takes us to episode 36, or 42, depending on your source. I am the arc in a Kamen Rider. So we're back from all of our recaps and stuff, the shooting special, the prison special, the job arc special, and the 0.5 episode. Important thing to know, Azu has the arc 1 Progrise key early, and has whammied all 4 Metsubo Jinrai members and stole their singularity data so that they are subservient to the Ark.
Well, by all 3, and a fake version of Jin's?
I guess a copy of Jin's because he still retains his.
Well, I say a fake because in the .5 episode, he claims that Hirobi is his singularity point. Meaning, I think if the same thing happens, she only takes his data for Hirobi.
Probably.
Which, if that's the case, that was not his singularity point. Which explains why he never reverted back.
Mm-hmm.
Because he even makes the comment of, he really don't know. He really does not know.
Yeah, because he's kind of grown beyond that at this point.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's one of those that I'm like, I think that's what we're supposed to take from that one kind of deal.
Mm-hmm. But the 4 of them decide to revive the Ark proper. They do so. The Ark pops out. It forcibly possesses Hirobi and damages Naki in the process because reasons. It kind of just happens randomly in this episode. But while that's happening, we catch up with Arto and Izu as they find Fua in line for a fortune teller. And because of that, they bring about a fortune teller human gear so that Fua can talk to them, and it doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't help him at all.
It actually makes it worse.
Yep. But back with Jin, Hirobi gets possessed by the Ark and transforms into the new writer, and more or less our final bad guy for this part of the show, Arc Zero, who is this like mangled, like put together version of the 01 suit, essentially, which feels on purpose.
Yep.
But Jin and an arriving Yaiba try to fight it. Doesn't work. Yaiba ends up getting injured and knocked out. Jin has to run them both away. Yaiba's dropped off at a hospital for injuries while Jin heads back. Our vice prez does an announcement for the raid risers and stuff. He doesn't put a whole lot of effort into it. But that's when we see Fua drop by to tell Arto about this. After this, he gives Fua a personal little human gear module thing that contains the AI for him to talk to. And by the way, it's voiced by Mao, who is Gokai Yellow, who does a lot of voice acting. But this actually helps him and gets him to actually kind of go observe his family from a distance. And we find out that, yeah, he's got a dad, a mom, a little brother. They're just a happy, normal family. We see that he gets a sense of humor from his dad because his dad pops off a joke like Naruto. So that's where that comes from. It's all nice and like normal, and Fua walks away from it and chooses to keep his distance because he's okay with his life or his life right now. He doesn't want to reconnect, at least for the moment. Granted, I don't know if they even know he's around.
There's a lot of mystery in that one.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like the show wants us to assume that no one knew kind of concept. But at the same time, I almost don't know if I believe that either.
Yeah. But after this happening, Arto pleads with the vice pres to hold off on the raid riser stuff, and he's just like, I can't do anything about it. Sorry. But any further conversation gets cut off as both Aruto and Fua get informed about Yaiba, so they head to the hospital, check with Yaiba. She tells them about the whole situation with the Ark and Jin. We find out that Jin wanted to bring the Ark to the surface to get rid of it, because the Ark is bad news for the Humagears, and we need to get rid of it. And their plan flopped, because, oops, we should have got more people involved in this before that happened.
Yeah.
So now Aruto and Fua head off to go take it down themselves. They arrive at a different entrance to Daybreak that we've never seen before. And once they do, Fua's ship starts giving him pain and stuff when the Arc Zero pops up. The two still transform, fight it. They manage to knock it down. But after it detransforms, we find out that Jin was the one possessed. Uh-oh. And then Hirobi just casually shows up and becomes Arc Zero because, oh, I was just messing with y'all. Because I also wanted some data off Fua real quick. Here's the real fight. And then the fight continues and Aruto gets his ass handed to him. And that's the episode. We end off on a hard cliffhanger, folks. So yeah, how'd you feel about our back half?
Definitely really good introduction for what really should be just considered final villain.
Yep.
I say that because truthfully, Arc Zero doesn't give that final villain vibe kind of deal.
Yeah.
But I think that's because of the lost episodes.
Yeah, because he doesn't get to be around for too much and do a whole lot.
Well, either way, I feel like Arc Zero should be a stepping stone kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
Just based off of premise and what we find out when we get to the last batch where we, have Arc 1.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna put together a little bit more concrete idea of what I would pitch as the ending for 01 if we had more episodes for that. Just to throw it out there for anyone who wants to build on it.
I think this show still gives us all the pieces for what they wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we'll actually see that before we get to the 02 stuff. Because if I'm not mistaken, I think everything gets introduced before 02's debut.
Yeah.
So we could loosely talk about that next week.
Mm-hmm.
Or we might just wait until the end kind of deal.
I say wait till the end so we have that direct comparison.
Because I know... I'm wanting to say that I'm pretty... Well, yeah. Actually, I know everything is there before the 02 debut.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. I think all the pieces are there for what they were gonna do. It's just a case of ran out of time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, any other thoughts for this week?
No.
All right, then. Like we said up top, next week is more or less the entirety of the 02 stuff. So the next 5 episodes of 01 before we get to the kind of improvised 4 episodes to end off on. But between now and then, Wednesday is... I forgot to see it. Yeah, thing. I forgot to double check and see if you updated the schedule with it.
I hadn't.
Okay.
I'm gonna do the schedule tomorrow, I think.
Yep. Wednesday's that. Thursday is more Rider Chronicles. Saturday, hopefully we'll get to talk about a direct of some form. Yeah. Supposedly. I would like for us to talk about direct at all.
I would like for an actual direct, not a mini.
Yeah. Me too.
I would be fine with that.
Mm-hmm. But that is Saturday, and then next Sunday is us our continuing watch of 01. So if you like what you're seeing, folks, drop a follow. Really appreciate it. Chip away that Philly Go at TGSN on Twitter gets you updates of life. Exclamation point Discord and chat. Get you this, so then drop by, say hi. See you Wednesday, folks.